Hello and welcome to Activity 3 of the Career Cafe's Restart Your Career Journey. Now, Activity 2 was about the detail of completing your CV or your resume, which is the story of your life. And having done that, you've highlighted your strength, you've highlighted the skills that you have, you've highlighted the experience that you can deliver to the role, and now you have the perfect document. But remember, the CV doesn't get you a job. It's your personal marketing document. You're the product, if you want, and its purpose is to secure you an interview. It doesn't stand alone, though. By itself, it's still not enough. There's something else that should be added to support it. So now you're actually watching Activity 3. I have to remember which activity we're doing here. And I'll be talking about a document that accompanies your CV and completes the first stage of your job application, your cover letter. Now, I say the first stage because personally, I believe there are three stages. The first stage is the sift. That's the job sift. The second is you're an applicant, because once you've got through the sift, you're an applicant. And then you become a candidate if you secure an interview. Now, we talked about your CV or your resume being your personal marketing tool, and it's all about you and how you're marketing yourself, as I've actually said. Now, in order for that to be impactful, to make a significant impact on the person that's reading it, the hiring manager, the HR partner, or whomever, you've now got to sell that CV. Now, I know a lot of people hate that phrase, selling. It's a horrible phrase for a lot of people, and I get it. Okay, so it's not necessarily selling in the true sense, if you like, but you need to know that the hiring managers had software that sifts through hundreds of documents and may have been presented with 10, 20 CVs for each post for them to interview, depending on the quality of the application. So let's do some really basic maths here. I've written down some numbers here. Let's assume that they're recruiting just one person. How does your CV stand out in that 20? You want to be moved from sifted to applicant, right? Which is where you are right now with the 100 or so others, and then get to a status of being a candidate. Now, to get to that stage, you need a vehicle, a platform, whatever you want to call it, to get the hiring manager's attention. And this is called the cover letter. Now, a cover letter is a really, really important way for you to showcase how you or how your unique combinations of skill and experience meets the key requirements of the actual job description, which we mentioned in the activity 2. It's your chance to show a clear link between your knowledge, your experience, and the abilities that you've got and the needs of the actual employer. And it also has the added bonus of helping you to make up for any gaps, for want of a better phrase, that are in your CV. And there'll be a lot of reasons why you've got gaps, and that's why we talked about them in activity 2. But this is now where you can actually put a little bit more detail about it, to sell it, to let people understand what the gap was. But anyway, I digress. It also tells your professional story in a way that's more personal. So remember, in activity 2, I said to you, people like stories, and they do like stories. It creates a picture in the person who's reading its mind. Now, you can say as well why you want to work for that company, what the benefits of working for that company, or the benefits that the company will get from recruiting you. And you could also, for example, address a large gap in employment, or changing career paths, or multiple job hops, which the CV doesn't necessarily tell you very clearly. I just mentioned the gaps, didn't I? So firstly, you need to address the letter to the hiring manager, whomsoever is the hiring manager. And as I said in activity 2, do a bit of homework. Okay, do a little bit of homework, do a little bit of research just to understand. If the company is recruiting directly, if you don't have it, you should find out the hiring manager's name. It's easy to do if you're doing it directly. You can use LinkedIn, you can use Facebook. There's lots of ways that you can find that person's name. You can even call the company and then ask them for the job interviewer. There's nothing wrong with doing that. If you know their name, pick the phone up and ask for them by name. Keep it friendly and keep it conversational. You can say, I'm really, really excited about the possibility of a personal interview at your earliest convenience to discuss my capabilities with you. And I can be reached on 01 or 07 123456789. And you can then say that I'll follow it up with a phone call as well to make sure you've received my application. So you can talk to them and have a conversation and ask them a bit about the job. Okay. But we'll cover that in more detail when we talk about interviews in activity 4. Now, can you do this or should you do this? Absolutely. You're using your marketing tool to market yourself. So the more information in it, the better, because you can make it personal then on the cover letter to say, I spoke to you a couple of weeks ago when I put in the advert, and that person will then remember you. Again, that's for the interview section. Now, let me wind back. What if you're not able to find out the hiring manager's name? If you applied via, I don't know, a recruitment agency or a jobs board, and you don't know the recruiting manager's name, again, call the company directly to see if you can get the name, if you know the name of the company. Be honest about why you're calling, but don't mention that you're applying for a post, because the people in the business may not know. You might even be going for their job. So you've got to be a little bit discreet in your question. If you're not able to, then make the letter a bit more personal by starting with something like, dear recruiting manager, I apologize for this impersonal greeting. I wanted to address this cover letter to you by name, but have been unable to obtain it. Okay, so you can do it that way. And then we go into the body of the cover letter. Where am I? Yeah. The body of the cover letter is where you really have an opportunity to convince the reader of your skills and your qualities. Now, you want to pack a punch at the top of any cover letter with a cover letter headline, if you will, something like 3 reasons why I believe I'm the ideal candidate for the role of, and you can use the job title here. If not, you can use anything that you need to do just to jump out, anything that jumps out. The ideal role of rat catcher, whatever it is that you want to put in there, put that there, okay? Now, following the headline, you follow it up with, dear Mr. or Mrs. Smith. If you know that that's their name. If you know that the hiring manager uses a pronoun, use it. If not, use their first name if you know it. Yeah, but never, in my opinion, dear sir or madam. You're just not going to step out from the masses. Or don't put for whom it may concern. You've done a bit of homework, so you may be able to find it. But if you don't know, it's not the end of the world. You could use for the attention of the hiring manager if you don't know. Yeah, but not sir or madam. That's so 1970s. Okay. And then in it, you put, next to it, I've researched your company and I believe I'm a great match and I would love to be interviewed for the role of shelf stacker. Then you go into the detail of the letter, and you should start with, I've researched Reg Gosling Limited and believe that I'm the ideal candidate that you're searching for the post of shelf stacker. Okay. And then you can go into 3 paragraphs that tells them why. And that should be followed by those 3 well-written paragraphs. Okay. And no more than 3, because less is more. So paragraph 1, you could put, I have a level 2 Microsoft Office certification. I've led with it during my time with John Smith Limited, and will be able to smoothly transfer those skills, plus my office administration skills of using the Polycom IP telephony system within your business. Okay, so you've addressed that because that was in the job description. Remember, you talked about using words and phrases that were in the job description. So you're selling yourself and you're telling them why you are the person that can do this job. Now, second paragraph, again, this is about your knowledge. This is about your capabilities. This is about your experience. Match them to the needs of the employer. Do it one more time. You did it on the CV, do it again here. And then sign off with a nice sales close that's called an assumptive close. Yep. I know you don't like selling, but this is what it is. Just do it. Forget that it's called selling, just do it. Something like, I very much look forward to the opportunity for interview. Please contact me if you have any questions that I can help you with about my application. Okay. Really, really that simple. So that's your activity in your application. That is your activity 3 in your application process. Write your cover letter. Just write it. Have a look for the link to the worksheet that you're going to see. There's worksheets that I put together with activity 1 and activity 2. So there'll be one here, and it'll be in the Career Cafe Facebook group. If you're not in the, if you're not on Facebook, then the link will be here. Sorry, the link will be here on this web page as a clickable link. I'll make it clickable so you can just go in and download it, print it off, and work with it. Now, work through it. Take your time and really put your effort into convincing the person that's reading the document that you are the perfect candidate. Put yourself in their shoes. What would you want to read about that candidate? Does the candidate match the job description in the job advert? Are they a great fit for the company that you're going to be working for? Again, we're going to talk about that in the interview section. But you've done a bit of homework, so you're going to find out a bit about the values of the company. You can make sure that you can put them into the cover letter. Listen, you're sucking up. That's what you're doing, really. Let's call it that. Call it what we're calling it. You're ingratiating yourself onto this company to try and get an interview. You're not trying to get the job. Keep it small. You're trying to get an interview. Okay, I hope that this activity 3 is of help. In activity 4, as I've said, I'll walk you through interview skills, but you've got the workbook. You've just seen this video. Do it now. It's what you do next that counts.